You are a Christian. You're competent, you're respected, but it still feels like something is missing. It can feel like there are two different versions of you. There's a version of you that shows up at work, measured, strategic, and playing by the rules of whatever room you're in. And then there's the version of you who actually knows who you are and what actually drives you. The fact that you believe you have a calling. These two versions sometimes act like they don't even know each other. So many faith-driven professionals that I've talked to have lived divided like this. They've gotten really good at managing the divide, but managing it is not the same as resolving it. See, that divide between who you are and who actually shows up in different environments is costing you. It's costing you influence, it's costing you impact, and it's costing you opportunity because it's interfering with what you actually want to be building. There's an old story about three men on a job site. All three are doing the same work, same tools, same hours. It's the same job. But when you ask each one what he's doing, you get three completely different answers. The first man says, "I'm hauling rocks." The second man says, "I'm putting up a wall." The third man looks up and says, "I'm building a cathedral." Same job, three completely different realities. The difference between those three men has nothing to do with talent. It has nothing to do with how hard they're working. The rock hauler might be working the hardest of them all. The difference is internal. One of them made a decision at the identity level about what his work actually means. And that decision changed everything about how he shows up. Now, I want to ask you something, and I want you to sit honestly with it before you answer. Which one are you right now? The reason I can ask you this question is because I've lived through it myself. I'm a coach for faith-driven professionals, people who are serious about their calling and their career and refuse to keep them separate. In this video, we're going to talk about what it actually looks like to thrive in both your career and your calling. But there's a warning I want to give you. If you don't make the decision to integrate these two versions, you'll eventually choose one over the other. And that's not what God has asked you to do. I want to help you make a good decision so you don't have to choose. If you are a middle manager or a high-performing individual contributor, there are certain things about you that are undeniable. You're smart, you're competent, you're respected. And those are the things that people see on the outside. That's why they keep coming to you for answers. But if you are all of those things and a Christian, there's something else about you that people don't see. You are someone with genuine faith. You're not putting on a show for people. Your faith is real. But even though it's real, a gap may still exist. A gap between the person you are on the inside and the one that shows up when the pressure is on. And sometimes when the pressure gets really intense, it feels like the only option is to separate yourself. See, the issue is division. It's like you have two identities, but you don't. You only have one. You're just switching back and forth a lot. And you think it's normal, but it's not. Even if you want to argue with me that it is normal, fine. You at least have to agree with me that it's not optimal. Why? Because the cost of switching back and forth is enormous. That energy drains you. It impacts your presence. It weakens your authority. The way I define authority is that it's the strength of signal that your life generates as you align who you are on the inside with how you show up on the outside. People can feel your signal, even if they can't name it. They just know something is off or that something is just right. Here's what usually ends up happening in your career when that signal is off. You hit a ceiling in your career that has nothing to do with competence. It may look like being passed over for promotions. It may look like not having a sponsor. And when you hit the ceiling, the first thing that gets damaged is your confidence. The next thing is your identity. And if you're not careful, you'll even start questioning your faith. Your faith will start to feel more like a Sunday habit instead of a daily reality. And here's the thing about the three builders. The rock hauler and the wall builder aren't less talented than the cathedral builder. They may even be working harder, but they are divided. It's hard to build something great when there's lots of division. I want to tell you something that I didn't figure out until I was over 40 years old, well into my career. For most of my life, I carried a belief that I wasn't even aware of. It was an unconscious assumption that if I wanted to create something that was worthwhile, it had to be hard. When something was too simple, I felt like I was doing something wrong. If I was getting results too easily, those results must not mean anything. If I wasn't struggling, I probably wasn't working hard enough. That belief showed up in how I approached making money. It showed up in how I approached communicating, achieving results in the areas that matter to me. I overcomplicated everything that I actually cared about. Here's the thing I wasn't considering: the impact of my calling. Because there is a calling on my life, certain skills and abilities are easier for me than they are for others. It's called grace. This grace was meant to show me that I was in sync with my calling. Now, I understood that grace was available to me in my spiritual life, but I didn't consider how to apply it in my corporate life. So I struggled. And most of my struggle came because I was out of alignment. I needed to learn that God's supply was abundant, that gifting and grace were far more effective in the marketplace than grinding. When I finally got my career and my faith in alignment, everything changed. Not because the work disappeared, but because I stopped fighting myself. That's what alignment does. It doesn't make you passive. It makes you focused. It stops the internal noise and frees up the energy that you were spending managing different versions of yourself. So here's the question I want you to take really seriously. Does how you show up at work actually reflect what you believe about who you are? See, because the cathedral builder isn't the most talented person on the job site. They're the one who has decided at an identity level that their job is an assignment and their career is a calling. And when that decision is made internally, it shows up externally. Now, alignment doesn't maintain itself automatically. Once you make the internal decision, you have to reinforce it. You have to do it over and over. And over time, I found that there are three practices that keeps you building like the cathedral builder instead of drifting back into division and misalignment. The first practice is fueling your faith. As a faith-driven professional, faith isn't separate from your work. It's the source of your clarity. It's what allows you to act with conviction before you have visible evidence. When your faith is strong, your leadership becomes clear. Your decisions become simpler. Your presence becomes more grounded. But when your faith is neglected, you don't just feel it spiritually, you feel it professionally. You hesitate more. You second guess more. You fragment more easily. So you need consistent practices to strengthen you. For you, it may be prayer. It may be study. The specific practice matters less than the consistency. Because faith, like strength, grows through use. The second practice is dominating your disciplines. Dominating isn't about controlling other people. It's about governing yourself. It means bringing your behavior into alignment with what you already know to be true. Delivering excellent work. Following through consistently. It's about holding yourself to higher standards. Not because you are trying to prove your worth, but you want to express your worth. Your work is not separate from your calling. It's one of the primary places your calling is expressed. That's why you want to do it with excellence. When your internal identity and your external behavior stay aligned, people begin to trust you at a different level. You don't have to demand it because your authority dictates it. The third practice is growing your leadership and your influence. The cathedral in the story was never built by one person. It was built by people who share the same vision. And the same is true for you. As you become more aligned and committed to fulfilling your calling, people will recognize it. They will trust you more. They'll listen differently. They'll open doors for you. You're not chasing influence. Your life, your alignment, and your authority is generating influence. And when you consistently show up in authority, you become someone others want to build with. Now let's bring it back to the three builders. Same job, same tools, same environment, but one of them was building something eternal. The difference wasn't in their circumstances. It was in their identity. The question isn't, which builder are you today? The question is, which builder will you decide to become? Because the moment you stop seeing your work as separate from your calling, everything changes. That's how cathedrals get built. And that's how meaningful careers get built as well. If you want help making that decision, I created a free resource called the Faith-Driven Leader's Guide to Impact. It will help you take that big, sometimes vague desire to make a difference and turn it into something that is specific, measurable, and directly connected to your calling. You can download it using the link in the description. I'm Coach Arnold. I want to partner with you. And if you want to keep building, watch this next video.